So the new clutch is now 1,155 miles old. So it's now properly run in. So let's see if the issue's sorted. I mean, that felt pretty good. So if you're not familiar with my sort of other videos that I've done, my clutch unfortunately needs replacing at about 35,000 miles in the car, which is pretty poor, to be honest. This car is only about 4.5 years old, my Mark 7 Golf R. It's a known sort of issue with the manual clutches. They're just not designed to compete with the power. Now I want to share my advice of what you should do basically if you come to having your clutch being replaced. This is my advice. If your car is in any way modified and has some performance gain, even by like 40 brake horsepower, I would say you need an uprated clutch. So you can get them from like Sachs or RTS or whatever. There's loads of them around, loads of performance VW Audi group specialists will recommend them, and you'll be good. You should be good for a decent amount of power, 400 horsepower, whatever, 500 horsepower if that's your thing. Oh wow, it's so much smoother. If you actually go back to the video, which I'll link, of the issue I was having, basically it was the revs were basically not catching up, if that made sense. I was putting my foot down and the revs were over, it was basically over revving, but it wasn't going anywhere. That was what was happening, which isn't so good. Now I should stress, we've had a bit of a storm over the night, so there was loads of trees and loads of stuff on the ground as I was coming, so I'm going to keep an eye out for random trees around this gorgeous morning here in the English countryside. There's normally a bit of a flood down here as well, which I've got to be careful of. So yeah, it was over revving, the clutch was slipping, and you know, overall it was pretty poor. To summarise, I got the clutch replaced, but what I didn't realise is that there's actually, VW have recognised the fact that there was an issue in these clutches and have since superseded them. This was done on the 1st of July 2018. So this new part replacement, which I'll list the part number above, was basically done after all the Mark 7 manual Golf Rs existed. They stopped making these cars, my car in a manual, you can see here, manual gearbox, because of emissions. They just couldn't get it through. So basically, if you have the stock clutch, you have got the old clutch which had the issue. Fact, unless it's been replaced. I now have the new clutch in, and I've now done over 1,000 miles, 1,150 miles. 800 of that has been going back and forth to Scotland, which was really, really great. I can say on early 1,000 mile impressions, this clutch is really, really nice. It's really, really good. I have like no complaints at all. This road is really, really nice. So let's put it in race mode just so you can get a bit of that fake noise from the from the speakers. I should say there's lots of twigs on the road. Look at that! How amazing is that? Whoa. I've been fortunate to drive a lot of cool cars recently, which you should check out on the channel. I'd really recommend it. Like the AMG GT Night Edition round track was pretty cool. And obviously a car from my subscribers as well was great. And even after my 800 mile journey back and forth to Edinburgh, I still get in this car and absolutely love it. It's such a fun car. Oh, it's just like, I mean, fun. And then you can sort of knock it back. I put mine in individual, which just quiets down the speakers a little bit. Yeah, so that was the issue with the clutch, which is now sorted. And all is well again. What I was saying was, if you're in the same predicament as me, if you drive your car hard, your Golf R hard, and you don't drive it too often, so it's more of a weekend blaster than a commuter, I would probably say get an uprated clutch. And this is just from all the subscribers I've spoken to, all the people who've given me advice, all the performance specialists, that seems like the right way to go. Even with this superseded clutch. That would be my advice. If you're like me and you don't tend to drive the car that hard, you are fine going for this superseded clutch. And obviously if you subscribe and stay tuned to the channel, I'll keep you updated to see how the clutch gets on. You know, how it is basically over the many miles that I hope to be able to do in the car. You know, I just love it. I've had it 4.5 years. I've done all the miles basically on the car. It was an ex-demo for about 1,000 miles old. Yeah, and I'll be able to keep you informed. That is basically my advice. But if you're like me, I think go for this superseded clutch. You know, there's no harm in like giving it some welly every now and then, but obviously once the car is warmed up, this car tells you exactly the temperature, oil temperature, engine temperature, you know, it's got it all, so you know when the car is sort of like good to go. That's what I tend to wait for. And you know, I don't, you know, that little sprint there is basically the most I've done since I got the clutch, since I've replaced the clutch, because I wanted to bed it in. So that's really cool. So there's my advice basically, and thank you to the subscriber who actually gave me the exact code of the new clutch, and I'll put it in like the description as well to hopefully help you out, because this is basically for Mark 7 or Mark 7.5 owners with a manual gearbox. That is where this video is supposed to help them out. So there you go, bit of a point of view as well around the UK. I am in near Whipsnade Zoo, if you must know, on some pretty cool roads, and I'm going to join some more. One thing I wanted to say as well is that first to second in these cars is always off. I test drove like 4 or 5 Golf R's 4 years ago, and it was the same, and it was the same in this car. And I noticed it the same when I was as passenger with another Mark 7 Golf R, the one that I actually said was one of the best manuals I've ever seen. And funny enough, someone else came back who had like a Polo GTI and said they see the same with their manual. First to second, it just never works. It makes you feel like a really bad driver. It just isn't smooth. It's always jerky a little bit. This new clutch has definitely improved that aspect of the gear change from first to second. So I can say that, but it's still not 100% perfect. There's still more time for running this clutch, and I'll be able to share you more information soon, but I hope you've enjoyed this bit of a POV around some amazing roads. I hope the information has helped you out. Thank you so much to the subscribers for helping me out, particularly when I first reported this issue, because it's a bit crap, because ultimately you're looking at about £1,000 to get the clutch done, mainly because of labour. And yeah, all is good in the world. But thank you so much for watching. Plenty more content to come. I've got my last episode of the year. Please watch that. It's my best car that I've driven, basically. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to sharing it and producing it. And yeah, see what I go for out of all the cars I've driven. But thank you so much for the support. Give it a like if you enjoyed the video, and I will see you again next time. Cheers, guys.